Good day, XCOM fans. This is Delta Angelfire here, bringing you another XCOM multiplayer match. Today we'll be looking at a match between myself, Delta, currently ranked 90th on the ladder, but I have been as high as 40th, and my opponent is going to be Zentec, who has been as high as 5th on the ladder and is currently 20th. So this should definitely be a pretty interesting match all around. I'm currently running a 9950.2 Stim Assault build. It's a small variation on my Twin Stim Gunner build. Zentec will be running a fairly standard 9900.5 medic build, and our map for this match today is going to be Boulevard. Each of our squads on this map is going to have a slightly different advantage. The original Twin Stim Gunner build called for 2 gunners utilizing combat stims, light plasma rifles, and skeleton suits for a high mobility and a high damage output. This variant switches out one of the assault gunners for a slightly better equipped assault Recon. The extra points are spent on an alloy cannon to help compensate for the loss of rapid fire, and the rest of it goes into Titan armor, granting the soldier a slightly increased durability at the cost of the mobility from losing the skeleton suit, which will hopefully allow for the soldier to sustain an additional hit once stim has worn off after the initial engagement. Now you can see here, since the build I'm using has a higher point total, my opponent got to go first and has managed to force an engagement a little earlier than expected. So I don't have stim up quite yet, but using the Titan armor, you definitely want to play it a little more cautiously than you would a TSG build in the first place. Unfortunately, I spawned on the bad side of Boulevard with the sparser cover and the lower ground disadvantage. You can get on top of the bus, of course, but that leaves you open and exposed. Not like the fountain and the statue areas, where not only do you have the high ground advantage and loads of cover to hide behind, but also you can combine it with the medic smoke grenades to give you a really good defense. Another disadvantage that I didn't realize at the time is that the bus doesn't block line of sight pretty much at any time. You can see here that my Recon is at the back of the bus with 3 walls of high cover next to her. Normally this would prevent line of sight from pretty much any direction except flanking, but on this map you can see right here that it does not. And one of the things you definitely don't want is to take damage before the initial engagement. You don't want your soldiers any softer than they already have to be, even if they are under the effects of stim. Here, as we proceed into the main engagement, we can see the strength of the medic build with its high accuracy, as it managed to take out 2 of my sectoids, both behind high cover, in 1 hit each. Now, an important part for the counterattack is that you really want to have a good idea of how much distance you can get on each of your stimmed soldiers. While you can use running gun to get just about anywhere you need to be, you really want to try to save it because of the long cooldown, just in case you need it later. You can see here that my stimmed assault gunner is able to reach to the back of the bus without having to use it. All so much the better. Thanks to a lucky shot from my lone remaining sectoid, who seems to have ignored the fact that my opponent was supposed to be in smoke cover, I'm able to keep up with where I want to be on the kill count. Because especially with stim builds and their limited time of combat effectiveness, you really want to make sure that you're taking a kill with each shot. As you can see here, Zentec is realizing the grave mistake he's made. By splitting up the damage between the stimmed assaults, he's pretty much ensured that both of them will survive, and if they both survive, that's going to be pretty much another 2 kills in the next turn. This again comes back to the point of not only knowing your own unit's movement distances, but also, if you can, your opponent's. If he had forced me to use running gun on both of my soldiers last turn, which he only managed to do for 1, then he would have had the opportunity to pull back at this juncture, which would have forced me to either follow him and possibly take some uncomfortably long-range shots or non-flanking shots, or I would be forced to pull back, giving him the opportunity to regroup his soldiers and be better prepared for the next assault. Having all his soldiers in one place so he could concentrate his damage where I was weakest, as opposed to what he was forced to do here and split up the damage among multiple targets. Now that he's managed to take out the Titan Recon, we've had a great simplification of the battle state. We're now going to be in a 2 versus 2 situation, and combined with my running gun, which is still available, and rapid fire, that is definitely going to favor me in this engagement. We take out his last couple remaining soldiers, and that, my friends, is going to be the GG. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something today. Once again, all comments are welcome. Just post them down below. I will have the build orders